also here today for a piece of legislation that we've been working on for many months called AB 1663, and that legislation is designed to make it harder to get into a conservatorship and easier to get out of a conservatorship. And we are able to put this piece of legislation together because of our partners, Assemblymember Brian Mainshine, Disability Voices United, Judy Mark behind me, and many other disability rights organizations and aging groups across the state of California. Also joining us today are a number of self-advocates who are here to talk about the impact that this bill would have on them.
Understand me, support me, accept me, love me for who I am. Thank you. That's my motto. But most importantly, I ask you to look at and think about why conservatorships are bad for people with disabilities, including self-advocates, just like myself and I. I have a job, I take the bus, and I have a lot of independence. But sometimes I need help or support from my parents. But that doesn't mean I shouldn't have the ability or freedom to make my own decisions. Decision making is a great way to help them make their choices while still maintaining the rights that they deserve to have. I love all this applause, thank you. Okay, as you know, a conservatorship is something that is reportedly meant to protect, in quotes, a loved one.
Coming to the court hearings for the last couple of years now, obviously...
Chris, can you come to the center? Thank you, young lady.
Sure. Obviously, I am a longtime Britney fan, but aside from that, I'm a mental health advocate and a human rights advocate, and what has happened to Britney Spears, people need to look at the bigger picture outside of the pop star, outside of all the money, that this is a human being that has been taken advantage of, that has been controlled and forced to work, and this cannot continue to happen. We cannot continue to allow people to be treated this way. She was forced into this. She did not want to be into this, and I know that we will be out here fighting for her at the courthouse until we do have justice for Britney.
Team Con! Justice for Britney! Justice for Britney! Jail for Team Con! Jail for Team Con! Justice for Britney! Justice for Britney! Jail for Team Con! Jail for Team Con! Justice for Britney! Justice for Britney! Jail for Team Con! Jail for Team Con! Justice for Britney! Justice for Britney! Jail for Team Con! Jail for Team Con!
Sure. I was just going to very briefly address what happened in court today. It was another very good day in court for Britney Spears. The judge confirmed her correct ruling that Mr. Spears will not be able to obtain the deposition of his daughter. The decision, I would just add that the decision was legally correct, but as a moral matter, it was correct. Britney obtained her freedom last November, and as many of you know, particularly perhaps in light of recent news, Britney is moving on with her life. She wants to move on with her life. And yet that man, her father, her flesh and blood, does not want that. In addition to Judge Penny's ruling being clearly correct as a matter of law and thoughtful, it's morally correct. The notion of her father, of all people, or any father, wanting to take a harassing deposition of their daughter, as I've said before, is morally abominable. So while on the one hand, it's now crystal clear that Jamie Spears' effort, his indecent effort to obtain the deposition of his daughter, has been rejected once and for all. And finally, Jamie Spears has been ordered by the court to produce all documents that we've requested without objection and appear for deposition. So,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just going to say, what are you hoping to get out of that deposition?
I'm not going to get into what I'm going to ask him, but you can glean what you'd like from our public court filings.
When do you expect to hear from JD?
When do I expect to hear from him?
When will this deposition be?
I can't say. It's going to be in the near future.
Will Britney be in attendance for that?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Since he's supposed to appear before August 12th?
Yes, sir. That was the court order.
Law&Crime said he's going to take a writ on the issue of whether or not Cole's a testifying expert.
I wish him the best of luck with that, and I hope Jamie Spears has not squandered the at least $6.3 million that he obtained from the estate in connection with monies earned by Britney. We have not said that that's illegal. I'm making a statement of fact, which is according to documents we've obtained, information we've obtained, as the public court records now show, Jamie Spears obtained at least $6.3 million from the estate, from Britney Spears' work. Although, as we know, Jamie Spears was essentially not employable. He wasn't a talent manager, he wasn't a talent agent, he's not a lawyer, yet he deemed fit to take commissions from Britney Spears. Now, I don't know if he has any of that money left. Circling back to your question, somebody's going to have to pay for his appeal. Interesting to ask if there are any investigative reporters here. Who's paying for his fees?
Is there anything you can say about the care plan? Is that still in place, or?
There's a myth about a care plan.
Yeah.
Britney Spears is free. There's a mythology about a, quote, care plan, unquote. Britney Spears makes her own decisions. TriStar's depositions are coming. TriStar was ordered today, for anybody not in the courtroom, to produce, pursuant to Judge Penny's order, all documents related to the electronic surveillance at issue, which, as we know, consists of basically two groups. One, the real-time, contemporaneous monitoring of Britney's private communications, including communications with her counsel, something that's sacred in the United States of America, are communications between an attorney and his or her client. And the second group, or the second bucket of electronic surveillance, under which TriStar must, pursuant to Judge Penny's order, produce documents to my office, concerns audio recordings. And as the Times reported, according to the New York Times, according to the whistleblower, those recordings occurred over the past several years, and there are about 180 hours of audio tape.
Do we know what happened to the money from the properties Jamie sold to Britney's?
That's something we're investigating, and that's something that will come out.
By what time does TriStar have to produce those records?
That's something the court will likely address at the next hearing. The court did not complete its rulings in regard to TriStar due to the closure of the court at 4:30 today.
In terms of possible criminal charges against TriStar or Mr. Spears, do you have any comments on that?
No comment right now. Okay.
Can I make a comment on the larger issue of AD?
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to. I want to thank the good work of Disability Voices United and Judy Mark in particular, and everybody who supported Judy. Megan Radford and her colleagues, Kevin Wu, they've done a terrific job. And just a couple of points about AB 1663, which is something that I support, and I'm happy to help however I can from where I am based on the experience that I've had over the past year or so. But it's fair to say, as I've said before, that Britney, to her credit, shined a light on problems with conservatorships in California and guardianships throughout the country. And it's Britney Spears who did that. It's not Mathew Rosengart, and that's very important to point out. And I do that at every possibility I can. In California, I'm honored to work with Free Britney organizers and disability and civil rights organizations to support the bill, AB 1663. And I would just say this is not about Britney, this is beyond Britney. Britney shined a light on this issue. We're now beyond Britney. Britney is free. There are a lot of people in this country and in this state who are not free and who are subjected to forced abusive conservatorships. And that's something that I look forward to working with legislatures on, both in California and in Washington, D.C.
All right.
I've reviewed the bill, and the bill seeks to solve many of the systemic problems that were exposed because of the case that I've had the privilege to work on over the past year or so. How could this have happened? If this happened to Britney Spears, a woman with her voice and a woman of her resources, we know that it could happen to anybody. I'm supporting the bill in part because it would make it more difficult to force people into conservatorships by setting up clear alternatives, such as supported decision-making. AB 1663 also makes it easier to exit a conservatorship by streamlining the process and requiring courts to set up a hearing as soon as a conservatee makes any statement that he or she wants out of the conservatorship. This is really a human rights bill, and this, from my perspective, is a human rights issue. This is a civil liberties issue.
That's right.
It's a civil liberties issue because what happens, and not all conservatorships or guardianships are bad, but what happens when you're placed into a conservatorship or a guardianship, if it's New York State, is you lose civil liberties. And when I was looking at this matter about a year ago, one thing that struck me is, again, human dignity and civil liberties. And as human beings, we have the right, or should have the right, to make our own decisions, even if the state doesn't think those are necessarily the best decisions. So to me, the bill, the process, is about civil liberties and human dignity. So I look forward to working with California and the California legislature to help pass AB 1663. And I want to thank Judy, Megan, Kevin, and her colleagues again. Yeah, Rex.
Mr. Rosengart, would AB 1663 have allowed Britney to exit her conservatorship had it been law?
I'm not going to address this particular case. I really want to focus on beyond Britney. Beyond Britney. It's possible, Rex, that it could have, and I think that's what the bill is designed to do, but it's not all necessarily about this particular case.
One more question. Has Britney expressed to you her support for the wider issues?
I don't discuss my discussions with Britney. Good try, though. I appreciate it.
Can we look forward to that?
I don't think so.
We appreciate it.
All right. I appreciate everybody coming out. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.